The following video is not made for kids under 13. If you are not 13 years old, please exit out of the video now. And please, YouTube, do not sue me. Hey guys, Leon Mookie here, and today I'll be doing another new What If series on Izuku Midoriya. This is What If Izuku had Ragna's powers, part 0. The part 0 is for, well, to explain Ragna's powers and the lore of Blazblue. To many of you, Blazblue is one of the most complex and most, well, crazy storylines in video game history, and Tekken and Street Fighter have the most complicated history. But that aside, the story of Blazblue follows the main character Ragna the Bloodedge, who's considered to be a terrorist and one of the most wanted men in the world. The reason being his entire upbringing. Ragna's life was not perfect. He was always experimenting as a kid, and he always had to protect his two younger siblings, Jin and Saya. One day he was saved and was taken care of by a nun at a church, alongside his two siblings. There he spent his entire childhood and the early years of his teenage life as enjoyable as ever. However, that all changed when a man with a suit and green hair basically convinced his younger brother to, well, kill Ragna, take his younger sister Saya, and also cut off his arm to make sure that he stayed dead. Because of this, Ragna was almost close on the verge of death, until he was given the Azure Grimoire by Rachel Alucard. The Azure Grimoire is considered to be one of the most powerful weapons in the Blazblue universe. However, the Azure was made into Ragna's new right arm. It also housed an ancient power, the power of the Black Beast. The Black Beast is a creature that almost destroyed the world about 100 years ago. And now Ragna has that power. Because of it, it changed his hair from blonde and his eyes from green to, well, his hair is now white and his right eye is now red. So now he's now the Black Beast himself. Well, not himself. Because now that he has the Azure Grimoire, he has access to the Black Beast's powers and is made into his drive. His drive is his abilities, which is called Soul Eater. He has the ability to absorb people's souls and life energy and make it his own. Not only that, he's even able to turn his own life energy and the atmosphere around him, which is called Seether, into darkness, like claws, fangs, mouths, and basically create extensions of the Black Beast from his right arm. It can also flow around his entire body as well, but it takes longer doing that, so he relies more on his right arm. But it doesn't make Ragna any less weak. Not only that, he also has a sword, a giant sword called Blood Scythe. Blood Scythe is, well, may not look like a scythe at first, but it transforms into a scythe, where his Soul Eater drive becomes the blade itself, and he's able to deal some heavy damage and increase the reach of his soul sucking and dark powers. As for Izuku, now how is this going to do for Izuku? How is he going to get the powers of Ragna? Well, let's start from the beginning. During the time where he was as a child, where he found out that he may be quirkless. that he may not have a quirk at all. Dr. Yu-Gi-Oh tells him that he may or may not. It's hard to tell. He doesn't have the pinky toe. He doesn't have the genetic trait of two bones in his pinky. However, his quirk hasn't awakened, so he may be a late bloomer. He may awaken it when he does, or not. Who knows? As Izuku feels like he's heartbroken, and his mother tries to comfort him. Even so, Bakugo still bullies him and beats him down over and over again. However, on one day when Izuku was defending another quirkless kid, and Bakugo and his friends beating down on Izuku over and over again, Izuku kept on standing up, getting back up every single time, no matter how much of a beating he takes from both of them. Bakugo gets annoyed so much to the point he creates a giant explosion that actually blows off Izuku's right arm entirely, as both the kids and Bakugo begin terrified on what just happened, as Izuku screams out in pain and agony, crying for his mom, and also if he's going to die, as he feels something coming out of his right arm, as darkness begins spewing all around him, encasing him. And soon after, they begin wondering what's happening, as the two kids ran off and Bakugo was left alone, as the spear around Izuku fades away. His once dark green hair turns completely white. His right eye, which was a pure green, is now red, and his right arm, which now had a prosthetic black arm wrapped around which didn't even look real at all. As Izuku begins taking deep breaths and seeing Bakugo, as he says, "What the hell happened to you? What the hell are you?" As Izuku says, "Kachan, the next time I see you, the next time you ever hurt anyone like you did to me again, I swear I will kill you." As Bakugo feels a menacing presence and aura around Izuku, as a giant beast with fangs and red eyes begin swarming all around Izuku, as he says, "I promise I won't, I swear." He runs off, as Izuku begins feeling scared and wondering what happened to him, and why did he say all those things to Bakugo, as he's still standing in the pool of his own blood, and just ignores it and just heads home. There, his mother begins wondering on what happened to him, why is his hair all white, why is his right eye glowing red, and what happened to his arm, as Izuku begins crying on what happened to him so loudly that she tries to calm him down a bit, and soon passes out. Over the time, a couple days later, he goes to Dr. Yu-Gi-Oh again, and there he sees that his quirk has manifested, that he had to be in extreme danger for his quirk to take form, as she tells him that when you lost your arm, that caused your quirk to late an awakening, forcing you to create a new one from your quirk. As Izuku begins wondering, so that's what happened. As Dr. Yu-Gi-Oh asks, "How did you lose your arm? I want to know." Izuku begins thinking, if he tells him what happened, like what's a Bakugo, then who knows what could happen to him since he used his quirk in a lethal way. So he just says, I fell from a high tree and I ended up breaking my arm. So and it was so much pain, it turned my whole arm turned like this. So yeah, as he says, I see. As he looks at his right arm and says that this is unnatural. I don't feel any bones or muscle tissue at all, and yet it still feels like an arm. How is this even possible? As he begins wondering, you may need to take a test for a little bit. As a couple days go by, Izuku is let out of the hospital. Soon after, he's gone back to school, meeting around Bakugo, and also showing off people his quirk. He begins realizing what his quirk can truly do: control darkness, and the most dangerous one, absorbing people's life force. On accident, he drains people's energy, making them feel like they're groggy or feeling tired. However, that's not the case. He's just taking their energy and their life force for himself, and which actually makes Izuku more energetic as well. Izuku began realizing this, that he needs to find a way to control his quirk properly. Soon after, couple years go by, and Izuku began learning how his quirk really works. How he's able to control darkness around his right arm. He's even able to do it with his other arms too, with his other appendages being his left arm, his right arm, and his left leg as well. However, the process for the darkness to swarm around them is slow. It takes at least only 20 seconds for them to fully realize around his other appendages. So he sticks to his right arm as his go-to weapon. Not only that, he needs to find a way to increase his length of his quirk. But he'll figure that in the future. Not only that, his quirk does have side effects after all. Turns out his temper is unnaturally angry. Even though he doesn't want to be angry, he is. He also has an attitude and is aggressive to those around him. He's especially aggressive around Bakugo. However, he tries to avoid people because of this, and causing him to be more alone. Due to this, people began calling Izuku a loner or a freak, or even a future villain. Some of them know about his quirk as well, and saying that he's able to drain people of their energy and causing people to keep their distance from him. His anger began swarming up more and more, and he has to find different outlets to control that anger. He tried martial arts, which helped him out a lot, and also gave him a unique fighting style around his quirk that he calls the Fang style, where he makes claws, fangs, and blades from his attacks. It helps him out a lot, but it still consumes his rage. Until he also began being good at cooking. His mom taught him everything that she knows, and Izuku's anger began slowing down every time he cooks. However, it's when he's done afterwards that his anger begins swarming down him even more. Until he takes up another hobby, playing guitar. He started playing with a regular acoustic guitar at the age of 12. Every time he plays it, it always soothes his soul. And even after he's done playing it, he still feels a lot more better, a lot more relaxed. Then he started playing electric guitars, basses, and even a traditional Japanese guitar called a koto. And also around his room isn't just posters of All Might, but also all the guitars he's collected over the couple of years. He never played in front of people before, and he doesn't know if he can. But other than that, all he cares about is just at least playing one of his guitars at least once a day, which helps him out a lot. Other than that, that's it. Thank you guys for this part 0. I hope you enjoyed it. I will make part 1 as soon as possible right after I finish editing this one, so expect part 1 probably in the next week or 2, so at any rate. Also, a question: do you guys want Jin and Saya, both Ragna's siblings, to be in this what if as well, and them playing a main role as in Izuku's life? Tell me down below in the comments. I'll also put a comment below. You guys comment down on that one, and whatever has the highest, I'll decide. At any rate, please like and subscribe, which helps out my channel a lot. I would really appreciate it. At any rate, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later.